Hello, welcome to another adventure in letterpress. I'm Sven Olaf Nelson, printer and designer at Pineapple Press and Design, and today we're going to be talking about a press that I recently picked up. This is a Kelsey Excelsior. It's kind of a unique press to the shop, and I liked it because it's a really pretty press. It's red and black and it's got gold elements on it, so it looks really cool, but there are some issues with it, so I gotta get it fixed up. So let's get into it. So this press is kind of a unique press. It's a 9x13, so it's kind of a big press. It is actually larger than my C&P, my Chandler & Price floor model press, but it's also a tabletop, so it can be mobile-ish. I don't know what year this is, and that's because there's some manufactured pieces on this press, one of them being actually the press bed. And the press bed is actually what we're going to look at today. Because the press bed and the platen actually don't come together parallel, which will end up with a not straight print. And so you can see that gap right in there where those two pieces are coming together and they're kind of just out of alignment. After looking at this, there's actually a spot up here where this press connects to this little lever. And the lever right now goes in between the chase and the press bed, and it just won't reach far enough back to actually get into the chase. It'll only go into the press bed. So let's take it apart and let's try to fix that with a Dremel. I really think this is a piece that was manufactured for this press, and there's a couple reasons why I think that. First, there's screws down here, and I've never seen one of these with screws that go into the chase, and the screws look brand new. On the press bed itself, this is steel and it's welded right in these joints. And normally these presses and the press beds are all cast iron, so this is not cast, it's welded, which makes me believe it's a new piece that was made specifically for this press so that it could actually be operational again. So it's actually kind of a cool thing. I like that it was made. It was just not made to fit. So now we're going to adjust it with a Dremel. All right, so let's see if that will now fit onto the press and go into the right spot. There it is. You can see that that's now locking up on that second little bit. So now the chase can fit right into there. There we go. So the next thing we need to worry about is getting this part flat against that whole bit and getting that parallel right in there. So that is just a couple cranks. This is my type gauge, which this measures to see if the type is big enough. This checks to see if the press is the right height. So this type height gauge will fit in between. I'm just checking to see if it's in the same area. And we are doing good. Feels good. All right. So I think the next step is to actually see if it'll print. So let's lock up some type and put it in the press. So Ben Franklin was a huge printer back in his day, and actually it's on his epitaph that says, all it says is printer. So it's always a printer's favorite. He's always a quotable printer guy, surprisingly enough. But the quote is, an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. And so it's actually kind of timely with the pandemic going on, and all things considered. It's kind of, let's prevent things, and it's worth just as much as the cure. I want it to be kind of a lot of type, if you will, and this is a thicker typeface, so I'm trying to pull a good impression with a really thick typeface, which is kind of hard. So there's a lot of image space, which means it needs more pressure and more power coming down on the paper in order to get a clean impression. But I'm really curious to see the impression quality. This press hasn't been used in 10 years, and I've never used a press like this. All right, it's locked in there. Called a Lockup. Now ink meets press. All right, so this is a Pantone 14041. Nothing spectacular about it. It's just in the closet. And here's a little hot tip for all those letterpress printers. Inks I get from large commercial printers that are kind of done with them, and they can't use this to really ink up their presses, but this will last me for a decade at least. I have no idea what color this is, but it'll work. I mean, this is a little stiff, but you can see this is not at all light. It is taking me quite a bit to get it moving. My hope when I got this was to take it on the road with me, and so that people could see a printing press in action. We'll see. I think maybe the only way to tell if I can take it out is take it out. So that'll be down the road maybe. So what I'm looking for here is a really solid impression of ink on the plate, and you can see right here the rollers are actually not touching the center of the plate. I'm not exactly sure why that would be. Maybe it was sanded down or it's warped. I'm still gonna put the Lockup in and see how it goes. Alright, and a clean sheet of paper. Nice solid impression. Alright. So we're not doing too bad. And actually this is where I'm going to stop and say the reason why these ones are faded out is because they're actually not getting ink, probably because of the center of the plate. I'm going to try to smooth it out with just a brayer. Spread that ink out. And I might get a little ink on there, so I know where those are. Alright, there we go. Not too shabby for the first time it's printing in 10 years. Resurrected another press, so it's kind of a good feeling. An ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. Alright, so thank you for tuning in. As you saw, we got the press going. It's got ink on it. We got prints coming off it, so I'll be able to take it out into the community and show people what letterpress is all about. So I'm really geeked about that. So if you liked it, subscribe, share it with some friends, and thanks for tuning in.